everyone, today I came across a news report that was particularly disturbing to me as a firefighter and paramedic and should be extremely concerning to you if you're the type of person that depends on the skill sets brought to you by your local emergency medical services, which all of you do.
Val, paramedics here at Carolina East Medical Center say people are calling for an ambulance when they have non-emergencies. They're doing this because they believe it'll get them treated in the emergency room faster.
You see, one of the biggest misconceptions when people call 911 for non-emergencies is you get the golden ticket to bypass all those other people that drove themselves into the ER via their own four-wheeled carbon footprint generator.
'Cause I've got a golden ticket.
But that couldn't be farther from the truth. You see, when you dial those fateful 3 numbers and you're having an actual emergency, that life-saving crew will show up, stabilize you, and get you to the ER so they can keep you alive as long as possible. But in this case, when you call for a non-emergency, we're just the lowly life-saving taxi drivers that are gonna drive you down to the ER and drop you off to the ultimate gatekeepers of the medical field, the hospital nursing staff. Once you're there, they're going to do something called triaging, and based off of your severity of injury or medical complaint, they're going to decide whether or not you should go right into a room or maybe hang out in the waiting room for a little bit. Now, if you're having an actual emergency, everyone in the medical field will make sure that you are taken care of from the second you call 911 all the way until the second you are discharged from that hospital. But if you're calling 911 for some of the lovely reasons I've personally seen people call for, like sore pimples, I had a scary dream, or my personal favorite, I'd like to go to the hospital to get a sandwich, then you might want to prepare yourself to spend a little bit of time in the ER waiting room. But the biggest issue that calling 911 for non-emergencies to trim a little bit of time off of your ER waiting time is creating is diverting emergency services away from people that actually need the life-saving skills that EMTs, paramedics, and nurses bring to life-threatening calls. You see, right now we're seeing the largest staffing crisis in EMS, fire, and nursing agencies, well, ever. EMS and fire agencies are so understaffed right now that they're having to down ambulances and fire trucks on a daily basis. And for those people that are actually showing up to work, they're getting held on something called mandatory overtime. If you're not familiar with what mandatory overtime is, it pretty much goes like this. Hey, my shift's over. I'll see you guys later. No, actually it's not. Get back on the truck. We'll tell you when you can leave. And this is nothing compared to what's happening in ERs and hospitals all across the United States. Staffing in hospitals is so low that ambulances are having to wait sometimes over an hour just to turn over patients. Eating, drinking, or even going to the bathroom has become a thing of the past because nurses are so understaffed and so overworked. In fact, I have personally dropped off at an ER that had 2 nurses for 25 ER beds. And I would love to say that that's an isolated incident, but I know for a fact that it is not. But no matter how overworked the medical field is, your safety is our number one. Because if you're thinking 911, call 911. Sometimes it's best for us to show up and advise whether or not you or your loved one should actually go to the hospital. But if you're calling 911 just so you don't have to wait in the ER waiting room, please remember this one little tiny thing. Your attempt to shave off a little bit of time not having to wait in the ER waiting room may actually eliminate the little bit of time someone else has on this planet.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.